Anyway, hey, here we go. It's Friday the 13th. We got crazy stuff to get into. We're going to jump right into the news articles because I got so many. First, I want to bring you to a patent back from 1974. The apparatus and method for remotely monitoring and altering your brain waves. Now, this method to monitor and activate brain activity using directed electromagnetic radiation without the use of local sensors. It indicates that by altering the scan angle and direction of the antennas, any region of the brain can be targeted. Since the patent was granted April 20, 1976, spatial resolution decoding capabilities were minimal, but you can imagine what they have today. They can send these out through your TVs, through your smart meters, through the Doppler radar. We already know the Doppler radar can hear voices up to 20 miles away and decipher what you're saying. We went over that article a while back, but just wanted to bring this out. Now I keep forgetting to post the links into the pin it at the top of the comments. I'll try to get it in there. I already got yesterday's on, but I always seem to forget in the morning. I'm just not awake, so I'll get them in there as soon as possible. Now, yesterday we were talking about the New Zealand had to order nearly 1,300 square feet of human skin from the U.S. to treat the volcano victims. Well, we got an update today. Today, the New Zealand White Island volcano disaster has prompted offers of skin donation. But there's a problem. People are trying to come in and donate their skin. You cannot donate your skin if you're alive. So people wanted to help down in Melbourne. They revealed people had been asking about donating their skin. While they thanked them for the generosity and support, they made it clear, unless you're having a skin graft done at the hospital, where you're essentially donating skin from one part of the body to the other, skin donations can only be taken from those who have died. So the Donor Tissue Bank Victoria Head says people cannot donate your skin while you're alive. So don't go try to donate your skin if you're alive, because it's not going to work. Anyway, pray for the families that had to deal with this. They shouldn't have been out there. We went over the aerial maps using the satellite meteorology. We've seen this thing has been popping off for weeks before this eruption went off. So they shouldn't have been going out there. Somebody should be sued. It's getting worse down in Australia. So now they're considering evacuating up to 90 towns if they run out of water. This came out yesterday. The state government is considering evacuating the residents of as many as 90 towns that are seriously affected by the drought if they completely run out of water. For months, many towns have been relying on water being trucked in. This is just nuts because we're on a planet that's, how many percentage water? Tons. This is nothing more than a monster land grab. On one side, they're hitting them with the fires. Then they come in, and people won't want to build back. So then they'll sell the property cheap to these investors. And then they'll put the high-speed rail in. Same thing is going on over in California and other places. This is going to go with some other articles that we're going to jump into. Just remember this article as we go here. I'm always talking about how these weather companies out of the United Arab Emirates are trying to green the desert. Well, now they're saying that the deserts are greening from the rising CO2. Increased levels of the carbon dioxide have helped boost green foliage across the world's arid regions over the past 30 years through a process called CO2 fertilization, according to this new research. The problem is, when one part gets greening, it's going to drought out another part. Who's going to be the country that's going to get droughted? You know, it's only greening more in the desert. They're burning down everything else. So, just nuts stuff going on. Like I said, I'll post all these links if you want to read in to all their stuff here. And they're only showing from 1982 to 2010. See, we've seen all the Sahara dust being blown off the desert this year and right on over to the United States, down in Cuba and South America, all the way to Hawaii. If you checked your rain gauges this year, if you cleaned them out, you could see the red sandy dust down in the bottom of your rain gauges. We had people as far as Hawaii letting us know they had the same thing. Now this is another weird article. Thousands of penis fish, that's right, penis fish, wash up on Point Reyes Beach. This is over in some part of the West Coast, I think California. After years of routinely walking along Drake's Beach, photographer David Ford can identify most of the native marine life, but when he was bewildered on December 6th when he come upon thousands of slimy pink worms pulsing in the sand. He hadn't seen anything like it before. Some of the seagulls looked like they couldn't even eat anymore, he said. They were eating 10-inch long worms, which were spread across the beach for miles. Most of them appeared to be dead. He never got to the end of them after 2 miles. Freaky stuff, man. Wonder if we could get a zoomed in picture here. They look pretty nasty looking. I can see why they call them the penis fish. Gross, man. They can also be called fat innkeeper worms. And I think there's another name for them. So a species nicknamed after its appearance, the penis fish. Oh, man. That's pretty gross, man. If you come across a pile of something that looked like that, you'd be freaking out. Let me get this unzoomed. You know, this is just, to me, this is just signs of the times, man. All right, we've had a new model coming out from the USGS about the new earthquake model shows significantly increased ground shaking in 2 Bay Area locations. You know, right where the where it dropped the ground there, like 40 inches. So the earthquake findings for the lower 48 in the Bay Area shows a potential for significantly increased ground shaking. You know, we never know, you know, if these guys are, who knows, man. We're just going to show this anyway. Hey, yeah, that would be funny if a hurricane picked up all them penis fish and, you know, distributed them everywhere. That would be a story. So we can see AI is already starting to take over people's jobs. Self-driving truck delivered butter from California to Pennsylvania in 3 days. Silicon Valley startup has completed what appears to be the first commercial freight cross-country trip by an autonomous truck, which finished a 2,800-mile run. This trip was smooth like butter, 40,000 pounds of it. So if you're a trucker, you might, you know, start looking for a different line of work because they're going to take all the jobs away. Australia could see the hottest day on record in the next week as the Perth heat wave continues to travel east. You know, when they come out with these articles, you know, they got to push the global warming and the climate crisis. You know, it's not the hottest day on record yet. You know, the hottest day on record was, I think it was back like 2000. Oh, no, it was 1960. January 2nd, 1960 was the hottest record set. Was it global warming then? Or was it the sun cycles? You know, these ones that we're looking at today are not only from the solar minimum, they're also from all the weather modification programs that are going on worldwide, man. Wait till you see the continued bunker fuel operation off the West Coast. They're affecting the you know, the atmospheric rivers up in the sky. Hey, thanks out there, Chet. Hey, who knows? They might hang out with the sperm whales. We don't know. We also have winter storm to unleash snow, ice, rain as it marches across 2,000-mile stretch of the U.S. So we're just now getting the warning from the mainstream of what we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks. And it looks like our 3 to 6 inch forecast 2 weeks ago is pretty damn close. I think it was a little bit farther south. Well, actually, that is 3 to 6 there. That's like 6 to 12 in the dark blue. So it looks like we're pretty dead on again. And we gave 2-week warning while the mainstream horrible meteorologists only give you a day warning. So, you know, what time this article come out? 4 o'clock today. Hey, you got a snowstorm coming tomorrow. It's 4 o'clock. The stores are getting ready to close. Hope you got food. Hope you can hang out in your house a day or two because your power might go out. Crazy car wrecks are going to be everywhere because nobody will take their nose out of the phone. Hope you got a blanket in your car. Yeah, they're calling for 6 to 12 inches, max of 15. They're worthless, man. The mainstream media is worthless. Down in Queensland, we got pictures from on the ground down there. I didn't get them loaded in here. Thanks for sending them to me. 120 millimeters of rain falls in 1 hour. You know, when we see these amounts and these time frames, it all lines up perfectly with how much rain you get when you're seeding the clouds. We know the cloud operations were out here. We know they had bunker fuel operations. And you get 35 to 45% more rain every time. That means that they're affecting the storm. These aren't by coincidence. Up in Brisbane, 15 minutes to flood the road. This is the way it rained every single storm in the Midwest this year. And then we have, you know, the companies that were cloud seeding. They admitted to it. They admitted to cloud seeding storms that were already thunderstorm warned. And even this year, the new video I haven't uploaded yet of the 2019 Weather Modification Community Meeting. We need people to start going to these meetings. If I lived down in Texas, I'd go. There's another one going to be coming in March or April. They ask people if there's any questions. There was like one guy in there. So here we go. Another one over Queensland. Roads turned to rivers. Cars were submerged. Same thing that we've seen here all over the place all year long. They're ramping this stuff up to push their agenda. They know what they're doing. Santa Lucia storm sweeps Italy with snow and gales. Right where the weather, you know, right where the cloud seeding operations were for the last 3 or 4 days, that's right where the flooding's going. You know, every single time. They can't hide the clouds unless they take away the radar data from us. We know what they're doing. The mainstream media is just pushing out all this earthquake stuff. Earthquake risk map. The U.S. seismic hazard map shows increased risk. But when you dig into it, it's talking like a 2% chance in the next 50 years. And then, 5%. They go by percentage. Dutch Sense knows more about forecasting earthquakes than the USGS. So we got just tons of articles on this new map in the Bay Area. Like, we'll be watching, we'll know when a big one's going to hit, because there will be bigger, deeper earthquakes in the deep zones, and the seismic pressure will go. I mean, you'll have mega quakes in the areas. There'll be like a buildup. Anyway, I put the PDF, will be in the comments later tomorrow. Yeah, we definitely got massive bunker fuel going on right now. So yeah, I got all the stuff here. And we'll jump out of that. Here's the PDF version. So you can get all the, if you want to read through all this. I read through quite a bit of it. I actually read so much that I forgot most of it. Like, you get an information overload when you're going through stuff like this. Get a drink of my tea here. And they got to give you these maps that look like, the bullseye. You notice where the New Madrid seismic zone is. Let me zoom in on this, if it'll let me. There we go. We get this so you guys can see this. Okay, there we go. Now, where the New Madrid seismic zone is, to me, it's actually it's slowed down a little bit. Even though this is one of the biggest, earthquake fault lines, that's had some of the worst damage ever. But what's happening is they're fracking so much through Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. They're fracking all the way up into Yellowstone. But what they did is they've created a weak point from the fracking. The fracking is like the New Madrid zone, man. I mean, there's just thousands of earthquakes over here where they're fracking. I'm wondering what's it going to take as they keep on fracking up into Yellowstone. They've already fracked into Yellowstone. They wanted to. But, now that we have a weak crust, what if we did go through some kind of event that just split the whole United States in half, man? We've seen these, flooding marine maps. How about anybody seen the movie Volcano? Where'd that fault line run through? Here's an article coming out of the Science New. Flooding Earth's atmosphere with oxygen may not have needed a trigger event. Maybe the trigger for the rise of oxygen on Earth was nothing special. Maybe the oxidation that didn't need large tectonic shifts or the evolution of land plants instead. The circulation of the carbon dioxide, oxygen, and phosphorus between Earth's atmosphere, oceans, rocks, and the simplest of photosynthesizing life forms is sufficient to produce the dramatic shifts in the atmospheric gas that occur in Earth's history. New research suggests. This just is another way of saying that the climate change is fake. The global warming is fake, man. It's all natural processes. Now, this pretty wild little map that they come out with. The complex chemistry of the surface. Ozone depicted in a new GOES simulation. I downloaded this, and let me see if I can play it on here. But what's pretty wild about this, we can pick these individual things out, but when you see Here comes the ozone coming through. The blue is the ozone. Then you got the atomic oxygen. You got the hydroxyl. But here's the monoxide, carbon monoxide, the CO, but the methane. Look at that big plotch over the central United States. We're following the methane right there, big spot over Europe, and all the way up north where China is. But pretty freaky little deer here, and they didn't separate. Look, you can see all the ship tracks. Let me pause that if I can. Look in this the yellowish looking map here. Let me back this up. Look at, or even in the pink. Look, you can see the ship tracks from the bunker fuels. Like really good on this. I need to figure out what layer this is, because this is totally blowing up what the shipping is doing to the air. Look at that, man. You can really see it in the xylene layer. So yeah, I'll dig into this later and try to pull out some of the other stuff here. And I can't remember if I had, so somebody sent me this link to this video that just come out today, the ocean pasture restoration. Now this is coming from the COP21. This is, you know, the UN agenda. And what they're wanting to do is mess with the ocean. The climate negotiations are focusing on the mitigation that is reducing society's carbon emissions. Adjusting to the climate change cannot be avoided. However, restoration of safe climate for the future generations is largely under the radar. So they're going to they talk about the technologies to withdraw the CO2 from the air. But what they're wanting to do, the Earth's 72% covered with water from the oceans and lakes and rivers and stuff. But yet we have water problems all over the place with different countries. But what they're going to do is target the plankton in the ocean. And I'll leave this link here. Let me, I can't play this one here. Let me copy this link because I didn't put it in my notes here. Okay, I got that one. You know, we may cover this part another day. I'm just trying to get some of these that I wanted to go over through. If you didn't know, China has the most surveilled nation. The U.S. has the largest number of CCTV cameras per capita. The total number of CCTV cameras installed in China is 200 million compared to the 50 million for the U.S. China has 4 times as many surveillance cameras installed than the U.S., but is just behind America when it comes to the number of CCTV cameras. I mean, look at that poll. That's ridiculous. China may have gained a reputation as a surveillance state because it has more closed circuit TV deployed than any other country. But when it comes per capita usage, the U.S. is the number one. The U.S. has 15.28 surveillance cameras per 100 citizens, slightly higher than China's density of 14.36, followed by the UK, Germany, and the Netherlands. You know, a lot of these are facial recognition and all that. But yeah, I'll leave all these links so you guys can read these if you're interested in them. Trying to get rid of some of this stuff. I think we're about through. Arkansas takes a stab at regulating human microchipping. The fact that this is even a headline bill would regulate microchipping employees in Arkansas. Shows just how far this country has fallen off its freedom scale. This one is aimed at getting ahead of the human chip movement, the one of which USA Today somewhat eerily wrote on August 2017, "You will get chipped. It's a matter of time." No, I won't. Trying to get through all these articles here. I can't see what's going on in the thing. I got so many. All right, now remember, let me try to get this back where I can see what's going on. Hey, thanks out there, Funky Boo. I know I'm missing. If I forget people, thanks Funky Blue twice. Yeah, if I miss you guys shouting out, if you donate or something, sorry about that. I just can't watch all that stuff. Thanks out there, Troy. Much love out there. And if I miss you, sorry. I'll try to catch you on the next one. Well, remember me talking about, fracking and the earthquakes? What's going to take for them to Swiss cheese a weak area of the crust to start off a big earthquake? Well, this just come out on December 12th, yesterday. Feds to open 1.2 million acres in California for fracking leases. So the Trump administration announced Thursday it will open 1.2 million acres in California to fracking, ending a 5-year memorandum on the controversial method of oil gas extraction in the Golden State. Now we're starting to see another reason for the fires. So they're talking about areas in Fresno, Kern, Kings, Madera, San Luis, Santa Barbara, Ventura. Many of these areas included in the review has some of the worst air quality in California as a nation. The Bureau of Land Management says oil and gas development within the Bakersfield office area alone is responsible for 3,500 jobs, $200 million in economic benefits. Well, why is there all kinds of tent cities out there? Why are they talking about putting the homeless on the FEMA ships? Now, speaking of the fires down in Paradise, this is coming out of the Sacramento Bee today. A land rush in Paradise. Investors gobble up bargain properties in the wake of the campfire. When the campfire swept through Paradise last year, barely missing his home, he saw an opportunity amid the devastation. So somehow the fire didn't get his home, and now he's there to swoop in and buy a bunch of the lands. He's a businessman. He must have paid not to get his house burnt down. So this is the way they do it, man. We're seeing this going on worldwide. But yes, I'll definitely have these links so you can read through this stuff. Man, I had a lot of articles up today, like mega articles. And I'm trying to get them all ran through here so that we can open up some of the weather data. And I'm not going to get into the 240-foot Friday the 13th asteroid that will skim past Earth today. That they don't know. Have they ever predicted one that was going to hit and it hit? I don't think so. I mean, maybe they have it. I don't know. One thing, I kind of forgot about that, but when I was talking about that, where they're going to evacuate up to 90 towns that they run out of water. The trees and the roots of the trees, they slow down rivers. And then all the bees and animals and stuff, they help retain the water. And when you had all the fires that are burning down all these trees, then it's not going to hold water. That's why this is an engineered drought. You know, part of it. I just forgot to mention that when we were talking about that earlier. All right, let's close that out. I guess we'll just jump into the worldview map first. You know, I was digging through here, and I got the, I've got all the, like, fire anomalies on here, and I got different versions of the fire anomalies on here. I've got the Terra Modus, the Sumo, NPP, and the Burrs, the Terra Aqua, and the Aqua Modus on here. And look, there's another fire out here in the ocean, but this time it's straight below Louisiana. And I looked, I couldn't find any kind of an oil platform out here. And it does look like on Google Earth, there's like a little underwater seamount right there. So just a pretty strange thing. So now let's get into the bunker fuel operations down here off the coast of California and the Bajas. We can go back to yesterday. Here they all are. And I'll put the enhancement on here. So here was all the bunker fuel ships yesterday. Tons of them out here. There's only like 1 to 3 military ships out here. So these are, you know, these are something else. Now let's go up to today. And look, man, they're still out here. Now they're crisscrossing patterns. You got some right here off the coast, but there's tons of them out here. And you can actually see them pretty good even without the enhancement. It almost looks like these two are getting ready to wreck. This guy's headed right for that guy. Look, they're doing X patterns just like they do with the aircraft. Most of them are going in pairs. So you can see they're going in pairs. Still gridding this area down here. So they're pretty much in the same area. You got one really blowing some stuff up, headed towards the coast. You got a couple going right up the coast. And then you also have the aerosols from the planes and the drones. So you got mass operations out here off in the Pacific again. I mean, this aerosol almost goes, it goes way out here, man. I mean, this aerosol alone. Oh, that's not the one, man. I ain't even got to that one yet. So here's Hawaii. So if these were normal flight paths, I could see maybe this one kind of arc down there. But what is this one up here? This is the aerosol, man. Look how thick that is. That's like a smoke curtain. I keep forgetting to load up the 1923 smoke curtain video we did. But look at that. It goes all the way up into Oregon. So this aerosol has been deployed from the east part of Oregon all the way through Oregon, all the way out the Pacific. In fact, let's measure this aerosol. Let's see if I can measure this sucker. If I can get this to work. So this aerosol alone is around 2,540 miles long. That's pretty insane. Let me check the layers, see if it's even bigger. Oops, did the wrong click because I got so much stuff on here. Yeah, it actually goes all the way into Idaho. Are you kidding me? See, like all the layers ain't completely loaded. But when you get the full layer, look, it goes all the way into Idaho. So they're deploying some big stuff out here right now. Now, I didn't look at this map real good, so we'll be looking at this together. We'll just kind of scan through here. I mean, I've been looking at these so long I can see stuff pretty far away. What's this little system right here? We're going to check that out on the Earth null and just kind of see if they're conjuring anything up out of that. Looks like it might have some pretty good waves. We got some kind of operation or something, man. That's just some funky looking clouds right there. Seems like we're always getting quite a few weird stuff going on right there. Quite a few hot spots happening in the Washington area, in Oregon. I mean, we really got to watch out here for some kind of flumes and hot spots out here. And that could be a precursor to like a big earthquake, you know. Maybe while we do this and we see these weird hot spots, maybe we'll get an advance warning. You know, if we start seeing a bunch of flumes coming up out here, we know something could be happening underneath. So really, Southern California is not getting sprayed right this second. Let me check both layers. Yeah, there's actually spraying going on over the Fresno area. Of course, you have all the massive bunker fuel. Look, there's bunker fuel going right up the coast of the Bajas. But no aerosols. Like, they almost spray aerosols right here every day. Look, that's the clearest we've seen this area all year. Maybe they're not spraying because they're dumping so much bunker fuel. Maybe it's time to refuel the aircraft. And just check all the layers. Yep, perfectly clear in the Bajas right now. In fact, most of Mexico is completely clear till you get way down here. So you do got aerosols in the southern part of the Gulf of Mexico, and then, you know, down here through Mexico, you got a spraying operation, but it's not like a real big one. I mean, that's clear right there. Now, we do got some funny business going on over Texas. Nothing like it has been. Looks like maybe some of this is ground-based water generation, but no blatant spraying operation. We got one weird spraying operation, I think, right here. Yep, there they are. So just the corner part of Arizona, the northwest corner, and then of course over Flagstaff you got a little bit of spraying operations. And then here we go with another funky area. This is ice nucleating that's going on here over Texas, parts of Colorado, Kansas, going all the way through Wyoming. Here's another big old mound of aerosols. See, they're ice nucleating. They're getting ready for the next system, which will be sending the snow over here. So they're using ice nucleation on all these storms. And we'll see what kind of snow we get pulled out of this. Yeah, there's a big spraying operation down here over Cancun. Goes through Cancun up over Cuba, the Straits of Florida, the Bahamas. Let me try to see if we can get a couple different layers here. So they've been getting whited out over the night. So they got sprayed overnight. Of course, the whole east is cloud covered. I guarantee you go up here around Nova Scotia and you're going to see them, because they're going to send this storm right on over to Europe along with all the other storms. They're just recycled storms. Yeah, that's not loaded real good. We'll give it a second. And of course, Canada's pretty, can't really see it real good. Let me just check if there's any bunker fuel going on in the Atlantic. Nothing blatant that's really pulling out. Look at all the fires. Wow, when you back out like that, look at all the fires going right up through the Midwest. A lot of these are controlled burns, stuff like that. You know, down here where Uruguay is, man, they actually changed the atmospheric river. Usually they're pulling that sucker all the way up into Rio de Janeiro. And now we're just seeing a little bit of Argentina spraying off the coast. You know, we see a lot of bunker fuel ships out here all the time off the coast of Chile. I don't see nothing right now. Wow, another fire spot out in the ocean. That's... Oh. Oh, wow.
It landed right on my hand.
If you heard the freak out, the wifey just had a wasp, man. Landed on her hand while it was on a mouse. And shout out to the wife for letting us put these videos out, taking away our time in a mad world. So even though Madagascar got hit with the typhoons, they're still burning. Yeah, I wish I could have got this to load a little better. So the desert is greening. You know, could that be... I think a lot of it's from the aerosols that are being deployed and all the weather modification programs. You know, the United Arab Emirates have multiple weather modification companies that use the cloud ionization. They use electromagnetics. They use all kinds of different things. Of course, we had the floods over here. Floods everywhere, man. Floods everywhere out here. Getting hit with freak storms. Ireland's kind of cleared up. UK, you're just spotty right now. Another fire up in the North Sea. So far, there's 3 fires or hot spots out in the middle of the oceans. Looks like the north part of Germany's getting a break from the aerosols. Look, they got some microwaves going on here in Algeria, along with some synthetic clouds. Remember, this was the big spraying operation yesterday. In fact, they're still spraying down here. Let's take that back to yesterday, just to see. Yeah, you had the concentrated spray right there over that island, pulling all that moisture in. Spain's still getting hit. I can see that now. That's just a weird cloud formation, or is that snow on the ground? You know, the other day, I was up here looking around the rush area, and I don't know if it's going to show up today. Where was that? But there's these freaky lines. Let me just see if I can go back. Try to find that. Let me just go back, because it was sticking out like a sore thumb. I'm like, what is that? This thing's load really slow tonight. Yeah, it's just loading too slow. Anyway, what it was is I got on Google Earth, and somewhere over here you'll see these big long square lines. Maybe there were more this way. Yeah, I just can't find them tonight. And they go the whole length of Russia. And I got on Google Earth, I'm like, what is that stuff? And it ended up being just like a patch of trees, you know, in rows. I mean, it's weird. I'll find that and I'll put it in here. It's really odd. Quite a few fires in India. Look at Vietnam, man. It looks like the whole place is on fire. But these are hot spots, so that could be, you know, anything. Could be fires, could be burn off, methane or something. We got a spraying operation over South Korea, big time. Super grid over South Korea. So South Korea is getting waxed right now. Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to, if you watch this video later, I should have said this at the beginning of the show. Like every night we have to do a manual review of our videos. Well, if it gets through, then I don't know if it's YouTube trying to make it up, but then they just plaster the video with commercials. Which, you know, it could be a good thing? Does that mean we're viable or whatever? But it is annoying for people watching the videos, so just want to apologize. I don't put the ads in there. That's what Google does that. And I think they way overdo it. Like, if they demonetize it right off the bat like they always do. In fact, this week I think 4 out of the last 7 days I had to ask for the manual review, and then they just, you know, some of them they'll just load the beginning of the video up. I think they do it to get people not to watch because they got so many stupid ads in it. And then sometimes they load it in the back. It's just weird. So we have a spraying operation still over New Zealand. What gets me, look, there's no hot spot showing up on the volcano. It's not showing up with a hot spot. But it's definitely spewing out stuff. I mean, you can see it's coming right out of the mountain, right out of the volcano. And like I said, we went back weeks, man. This thing has been, you know, releasing. Yeah, it's just loading too slow. I can't really go back. But yeah, it's just been releasing for a long time. They shouldn't have been out there in a boat. And I thought I had this loaded a little better. So they targeted this area again, man. It's like they're always the target. You got some funky business going on in the Tasmanian Sea. Let's go take a look at the fires. Look, they got a lot of cloud cover up here. And what is this? Is this a cloud? Is this smoke? What is that? Is it fog? I gotta let that clear up. That's really odd looking. Let's try to get that to load up. Oh, you're getting a shout out, honey. Special shout out to Shelly Browse for giving us her husband for at least 1 hour a day. Let's make her sacrifice count and smash the like button. Thanks out there, Hillbilly. Let's go ahead and check some radar real quick. Let me check tropical cyclone page. All right, so let's just take a look at this. It almost looks like the water vapor is starting to creep back up where it goes. And what's really weird, this is, normally there's a lot of water vapor up here, but look, it's all being pushed south, man. It's really far south. Plenty of water vapor to make it rain in Australia right now. Look at all that water vapor over northern Australia. They could easily be getting pounded with rain right now. I mean, the whole atmospheric river is over Australia right now. There should be no reason they couldn't make that rain. You got the whole river of the sky right above you. Let me put this on a couple hundred frames. Let's see what kind of weather. Let's put some watches and warnings on. Wow, we got a new alert message. We are having some issues with our satellite imagery and are investigating. Sorry for the inconvenience this may cause. It's never good when they're saying that, because that means they're hiding something. Let me put on the watches and warnings to see if we got anything going on. You can see, just like we thought, that heavy rain is, well, yep, it's hitting right in the target zone that we had. Look how fast this storm is flying down where the aerosols were. I mean, this storm just takes off like a rocket right here. It just look, it looks right there. They're using the mountain to really push that storm down. Then, of course, you got a pretty good flare up right here off the coast. Heavy rains. It's not giving me the watches and warnings. There they are. So we have tons of winter storm watches, winter weather advisories, flood issues in Arkansas, thunderstorms up in the upper northeast, Maine, Boston area, Connecticut and all Rhode Island up in there. Still flooding. All right, let's put this on the cirrus layer. Turn on the enhancement and we'll see what kind of aerosols we're seeing. Then we'll check out the bunker fuel operations. A lot of spraying up in the north, pulling the system up. There's a targeted spraying right there in New Mexico. Here's a spray that we didn't see on the worldview map. They use the mountains for weather control. That's why a lot of countries that don't have mountains, they want to build artificial mountains to help make it rain. Yeah, they're getting a little glitchy here. Let me take that off for a minute. And let me jump over to the west coast so we can check out the bunker fuel operations. We know they're bad out here right now. Right now I'm gonna see if there's aerosols first from the planes and the drones. And then we'll bring in the microphysics layer that will pull the bunker fuel out. Man, this thing is a little glitchy. It's missing a little. Well, it's popped in there now. Wow, it's definitely glitchy tonight. Let me get rid of them watches and warnings. Maybe that's messing us up a little bit. There we go. Maybe that'll help. Targeted areas. Oh, you know what? I took off the borders and stuff. So where'd they go? Oh, there we go. Yeah, we couldn't tell where anything was. Yeah, so you can see the aerosols right there. And right here in the southern part. All right, let's put this on the microphysics so that we can check out the bunker fuel. If this don't work, we'll put it on the, whoa, what's this? Wow, there they are. Look at them guys out there. Whoa, blood red, man. Is that the glitch they're talking about? So you got bunker fuel right here off the coast. You got a real light one there. You got just tons of them out here doping up the sky. Wow, so we got, that's some freaky stuff, man. What, we getting hit by some space weather or something? Or is that the meteor or asteroid flying by messing up the signal? Something's going on. Yeah, they got this all jumbled up. Whoa, what was that? That's weird. Let's check the RAM slider, see if it's messed up. That'll let us know if it's the if it's just this side or the other one. Oh, I do got a tab here that I can see if you guys are shooting us a super chat. So thanks out there, chat. My Nana, Funky Blue ×3. Much love out there. For some reason, my bit rate is not, it's lower than the recommended bit rate. I don't know why it got turned down, but we'll fix that tomorrow. Man, that's blatant right there. Look at that, guys. Man, that really shows how many ships are out. Look at all these ships right here. That is insane. We hide that just so we can see this better. Mass bunker fuel operation. I mean, that's a lot of ships right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got like 7 all in one area headed toward the Bajas. And then you got a bunch of them riding up the coast. You wouldn't think they'd be dumping the bunker fuel that close to the coast. They usually try to keep it hid out here. But there is a lot of them. It's kind of panning out so I can get it. It loads a lot quicker if it's small, and then I zoom in on it. Let me just look up here, see if we can see anything up here. You know, before all the operations were up here around the Aleutian Island chain, and now they're all down south. You know, whoever it is out here, it's a fleet of them. They always stick together. I can see the aerosols down there in the corner. Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody really up here. Let's go ahead and check the Hawaiian one. I want to go kind of look down there at I want to go look down here at the fires. That's right in the Sydney area. Oh, they got aerosols. See, they're deploying aerosols. Aerosols over the fire zones. See, that's one thing about this map. It is so clear that we can really see this stuff good. Yeah, it's not going to load a lot, but man, you can definitely see the aerosols. Look at all the aerosols along. I'm just gonna go, look, aerosols right here. I mean, you can't get much clearer data than the RAM slider. This Japan satellite imagery it's like way better than America's. Ridiculously clear. You can even see the dust storm out here, like really clear. We got the microwaves going on right over here where the ionospheric heater is. Look, they want to call these gravity wave clouds. That's pretty suspect since you have an ionospheric heater right here, and then there's like a big blast ring and aerosols. I don't know what that stuff is. Not really seeing any bunker fuel. I mean, there might be a few out here, but nothing too drastic. Let's go ahead and check the polls and just see if we're getting any kind of like weather up high here. So no plasma lightning in the Arctic. Let's go ahead and check the Antarctic. Nothing down here, man. It's like quiet, man. Why would they be having satellite issues when there's nothing even going on? I'm trying to see if I can figure out. Okay, so that plane went down. The C-130 went down right down here. Oh, we got an aerosol. So they're chemtrailing as they're looking for the missing plane. So right here is where the missing plane went down. Yeah, I was really hoping we'd spot something down here. Well, there's so many ionospheric heaters out there, man. Everybody just thinks there's Hart, man. There's so many. We can take a look at that quick before I go here. I can bring up all of them worldwide. You just got to go over to Jim Lee's climate viewer. And everything's already been mapped out. Now there's some new ones he don't have on here that I've sent them to him. He may have put them on here by now. But there's that new one in China that's not on here. And I can't remember if he's got the one down in Australia, but here, let me see if I can see what he's got here. I do want to put them on there. And then we're going to put on the worldwide ionospheric heaters. So we'll load that on here. Change the base map to that. Hide that. So, all right, everything in the red. These are the ionospheric heaters, scatter radars. Like here's our SIBO. You see this in the James Bond movie all the time. And they're actually building a new antenna array that's going to be inside this dish. I don't know if they've already done it. And the size of this thing is huge. Like it's huge. It's big as the city up here. Like that thing is huge. So you got that one down here in Puerto Rico. You got this big radar array, super darn, down here in Peru in the mountains. It's huge. So this whole big square right here is antenna arrays. Like you can click on there and it shows you all the antennas that they got going here. That's a super darn. If you come on here, you can check out the megawatts that they put out. So that's just them two. And then you got all this crazy stuff. Military bases and stuff. You know, the plane went down somewhere around where my mouse is. Right around in there. And then you got the harp. Everybody knows about the harp. You got one here in Japan. It's kind of looks like the Arecibo, but a little bit different. So it's a pretty freaky looking one. It uses UHF radio waves with a frequency of 46.5 megahertz. 1 megawatt peak output power. Yeah, he still don't have the new one marked here in China. Man, it took me forever to find it. And I know I can't just find it right here. I mean, it took me a long time to find that thing. It's huge. It's the biggest one in the world. You got one over here in India. This is a 2.5 megawatts. It's a phased array, consists of 1,024 cross 3 element Yagi antennas. There's the one in Ukraine, 3.2 megawatts. Here's the China Research Institute of Radio Wave Propagation. That might be where the real big one is, but it's just not marked. There's an unknown one. Here's the one in Russia. 750,000 watts. You got this other one in Ukraine. It's 2.5 megawatts. And then you got the Trones mode. Here's where the big time ones are. Now they don't have the Eyes Cat built yet. But the Eyes Cat, I think the Hart facility is 100 million watts. It's the most powerful until this one gets built. This one's going to be like 100 billion watts. It's like insane. You got I think that's scatter radar. Here's one up here in Canada. This is a 2.2 megawatts, 32 by 28 phased array scatter radar. Here's a 2.5 megawatts radar up in Massachusetts, up there by Radical Ralph. So here's an equatorial atmosphere radar. Details are unknown. This is at the Vandenberg Air Force Base. Some kind of antenna array. Don't have the details on that one. So these are just the ionospheric heaters. These are not, you know, all the other crap that you could put on here. What is that? So anyway, tons of stuff, man. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and jump off here, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for helping us out. Thanks for sharing it out. And I think John out there put a link out to the 100 gigawatts of the bad boy out there. He's got a link for that. Once they get that one up and running, man, there's no telling. It'll be full geostorm. They already got Skynet rolling. Anyway, guys, much love. We're going to play a song called Rise. We'll play a couple outro songs I'll go give away the treasure chest on D Live, and then I'll come join you in chat. Much love, guys. Be safe out there. No fear. Eyes to the skies and all that stuff.